There's so many spirits in African-based traditions. There's Lucan Kazi of Palo Mayombe. There is Zarabanda. There is Oguferai. There is Ezulizia Rouge. There is there is Eshu. Come on, there's so many spirits in the ATRs that would make Lucifer look like Mickey Mouse. I mean, what's there to even talk about? Lucifer is nothing compared to these forces. Lucifer is a child. Shit, Lucifer doesn't even fucking exist. Well, a lot of people have been asking me about my thoughts on Lucifer as a deity and as a spiritual being. My thoughts on Lucifer is that Lucifer doesn't exist. Well, as far as Lucifer is concerned, if we look at the Old Testament, I believe it's Isaiah 16 or 14 or something on that line, or chapter 16 or chapter 14, one of those, I think it's verse 12 or so. It's been so long. But if you look at the reference to, the morning, the shining one or something like that, or in King James they put out there, Lucifer, or such, you've been casting down. Now listen, if we read that verse, we're going to see that, or just go back in its entirety. We will read that it's in reference to a Babylonian king. This is no different than the Christians' attempt to interpolate the New Testament with the Old Testament. It's no different from a reference to a verse of the child, the virgin shall conceive, or she's with child, or so and so. Now, if we look at the reference to that reference to a child being born is in reference to a king. I think it's King Alhaz or something like that. It's been so long since I looked at the text, but I would just say it's in reference to a king, not the New Testament's reference, which they try to use and refer to Jesus as. So we see this interpolation. See, the thing one has to understand when understanding this concept between the Old Testament and the New Testament is that there's so much councils that went on. The Nicene Council 325 CE, basically there was a meeting amongst various Christian sects as well as Constantine the Great, allegedly. And this was the meeting amongst various sects to find out which books would become the part of the Holy Canon. So we have different groups fighting over to become the leading group whatsoever of who's going to run so and so. And if we want to look at it from the Jewish perspective, the Jews were outside of this. They was taking care of their business. Where you had a new sect, or probably offshoots of the Jewish sect, partially, because if you get into Gnosticism, you're gonna read that there's various groups. What was it, Ebionites? You had the Sethians. You had various groups of Gnostics, various groups of Christians, Marcionites, and so you read up about it. It was a whole war going on between various Christian sects trying to become the new leaders of the new religion of the time. So we can see various attempts of the new wave of Christians trying to find their origins in the Old Testament for the new belief of Jesus Christ. So you find even a lot of night and day Zoroastrianism. Not Zoroastrianism. That's Nietzsche. You find Zoroastrianism even brought into the New Testament. You find even the concept of Jesus himself. I'm sorry if I seem like I'm falling away from the whole Lucifer talk, but I want you to understand what's going on here. So you find this battle between light and dark in the New Testament, which is borrowed from Zoroastrianism. You find this guy, a man being crucified on the cross, which pretty much there's many, what is it called? Look at the book called The 16 Crucified Saviors. There's various copies and replicas of this God man dying and resurrecting on so-and-so day. So I say this to you to make reference to what we have for the concept of Lucifer. We have a being that does not even exist in the Old Testament coming into play with the whole new Christian religion. For the Jews, I mean, I've searched in Sefer Yetzirah, I've searched in the Tanakh, I've searched through the Zohar, I've searched through the Bahir. No references to a supernatural being by the name of Lucifer, except in the Christian King James Version of the Bible. Lucifer. See, this is deeper than many people think. Now, if we want to talk on the occult level, but some mystics will say, Leonard, what about the reference to the seal of Lucifer? Or how about Lucifer Raphael? The guy, we heard somebody, in the UK, had 2 murders with this whole Lucifer Raphael garbage. And you know what? You know the funny thing about this? This is a very funny reference because I believe a spiritualist by the name of E.A. Cowedding got linked up to this. And you know the funny thing about this? Hold on, let me take a look at this. It said this, because I think in a BBC documentary, they made reference to the seal which was considered Lucifer's seal, or Lucifer's Raphael, right? The symbol they used for Lucifer. Okay, here it goes. They must be invoked by means of characters which they themselves have been made known, and these characters must be written with the blood of the operator. So what we have here, and to even touch on this occult E.A. Cowedding, where he got his reference from was some of these old grimoires. If you read the Black Pullet, there's other texts as well that gives you reference to certain reference to different seals. So again, I may have people that will say, but Leonard, the reference to the seal we've been seeing for Lucifer, how do you explain that? There is a spirit named Lucifer and there's a seal for Lucifer. Well, it's quite simple. It's no different than what is done in voodoo a lot of times. A lot of people a person may go to this boko or that wungan, and they may get a mouchoir or a cloth, and they have a specific symbol on there. That wungan may say, oh, this symbol belongs to this spirit here. Let me tell you something. Anybody can have a symbol and throw whatever name they want on there. You can sell a client, like some of these voodooies what they be doing, they'll just make a symbol, they take a symbol they got from somewhere, they don't even know what the fuck it is, and they'll sell it to the client and say, oh, well, this is the symbol of this spirit here. Utter nonsense. Utter nonsense. See, there's a lot of veves in voodoo. They do that with a lot of times. People don't know, there's no reference for it. So what they do is put their own label on it and say this belongs to that spirit. But now that's a deeper science, because if we want to go into numerology, now we're talking about another story. Because even if in numerology, if we want to go deep into it with gematria, we can definitely look at it from a different perspective. But if we're talking about this from just the logical, human point of view, from what we read from texts and scriptures, then we can say that the whole foundation of Lucifer is based on a lie.